right. So glad all of you could make it today. Oh, yeah, you can. I think that's fine. If you want to write the review problems out on a sheet of paper, that works for me. Make sure they're numbered and in order so I can, you know, see them. Sorry, I was going back to get my my chalk. Where'd it gone to? Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, well, yep. I need my chalk, you know. Let's see here. So, as I announced, I just sent out the review sheet for the test on Friday, and the test on Friday is on chapters, you know. Let's see here. Oh, what? Come on. Well, there's a piece up here. I'll work with this one. So the test is on mostly lines, right? Chapters 2 and 3, but there are some questions about, like, the domain of a function, right? And the vertical line test. I think we talked about that too. So I shouldn't forget about those. So let me talk about some more domain questions here. So suppose you had f of x 1 over x plus 3. Right? What would the domain of x be? Well, that's the one thing we need. What do we need? X plus 3 to not equal what? What do we get into trouble? If x plus 3 is 0, right? Then we have division by 0, which we cannot have. So that means that x is not equal to minus 3. So the domain of f, then, is going to be x such that x is not equal to minus 3. Right. And like the answer in the review sheet, it's like it's a little bit more extravagant than this. They wrote it like this. They said x is a real number. And x is not equal to minus 3. Of course, they did not use the hashtag. They used the word number. But that's not hashtag. It's a number. Let's see example 2. Another example we could think about would be f of x equals to x cubed plus 3x squared minus 7, right? What's the domain of f here? No, there's nothing. I mean, the question, when we ask about what's the domain, the question is, for which x is the formula defined? Like, does it make sense to plug in x? Like, so can you plug in a negative number to this? Yeah. I mean, can you plug in a positive number? Sure. I mean, whatever real number you put into this formula, we can cube a real number, we can square a real number. There's no division. In short, there's nothing to worry about. So the answer here is all real numbers. That's the answer. Now, in interval notation, that's minus infinity to infinity, right? What was the answer to the previous problem in interval notation? Well, in interval notation, the answer to the previous one is minus infinity to minus 3, unioned with minus 3 to infinity. Okay, so you may or may not need to know that interval notation in order to answer the question. The way the review sheet is formatted, like problem 19 and 20 and 21, they're multiple choice, and they've got this kind of format for the answer. not that, but that's just, I wouldn't. There's no interval notation in the homework? Man, that is weird. I thought there was interval notation in the homework. All right, well, I mean, huh. So even in the inequality stuff, the answer was never intervals? So I was just, in the, like when we solved inequalities before, like, yeah. Ah. See, that's strange. I mean, I think they should keep using it because it's something you guys need to learn. It's something you're going to need to know for like the next math class you take, and it's one of the things people struggle with going on. And it's not hard to learn either, right? I mean, once you get over the hump of, oh, you need the union of these two things, like I don't know, it's not. Anyway, I shut up. The other thing I have not talked enough about yet is evaluation of functions. Is this okay? Okay. So function evaluation and so here it says goodness gracious. So let's see here. Okay, I have f of x equals to x squared plus 3x minus 2. You know? And you can say find f of 3. So what would f of 3 be? F of 3, we take x, put x equal to 3, right? So we get 3 squared plus 3 times 3 minus 2. That's how you do it. 16. That's 9. Plus 9 is 18. Minus, 16. You got it. You're way ahead of me there. Very good. Example 4. F of x equal to 3x over x plus 8. Find f of, 10. I don't know. All right, so we do f of 10. And again, what we're doing is we're replacing, everywhere there's an x, we put a 10. So we've got 3 times 10 over 10 plus 8. So we've got 30 over 18, which is 5 times 6 over, 5 times 6 over 3 times 6. So like you said, 5/3, yeah. All right, just thought I should go back and do a couple more of those since we got away from those. We did talk about that briefly before, but I thought, let's just take a minute here. All right, so we need to talk a lot more about intercepts. Oh yeah, that's please feel free to. Okay, yeah, let's talk about lines, right? So I remind you, lines. There are a few fundamental things we need to remember, right? So y equals mx plus b. This is slope-intercept, right? This is the slope-intercept form. The slope is m, the intercept is b, and it's a y-intercept we're talking about, right? The other way to look at it is, y1 plus m times x minus x1. This is point slope. The point slope form. The point we're talking about is x1, y1. The slope, again, is m in the equation. the slope we can always get from rise over run, change in y over change in x, right? And I said always, but I don't mean always, because there's a place where this equation fails, right? Which is when x1 is equal to x2, right? Then you're you're in trouble. But that's the case of a vertical line where the slope is undefined, right? Otherwise, the slope formula makes sense. That's how we calculate slope, right? Rise over run. And be careful to read the graph from left to right. You know, this is a mistake I used to make. I would sometimes inadvertently read the graph from right to left, and I would think that I got a positive slope when it was actually negative. That's the, anyway.
So when do you know which one to use?
It doesn't matter unless, the question is, the problem.
Unless it says use slope intercept or point slope.
Exactly. So the question is, what is the question is what's the question asking? You know, so if I just say find the equation of a line, most of the time when people say find the equation of a line, they want the slope-intercept form. I am a weird person in that I am perfectly content with point-slope form because to me it's equally useful, if not more useful than slope-intercept. Let's see here. There are other ways to talk about a line. There's just like generic formula for a line. And this I never quite remember this, but there's an intercept form. So give me a second, we'll derive it. So if you have a line, right, and it's got this and that as its intercept, these are intercepts, right? So this point would be 0, comma, y naught, and this would be x naught, comma 0, in terms of like, if I'm using y naught for the y-intercept and x naught for the x-intercept, yeah? Just to give them names. Or if you like, I could use a and b. Let me use a and b. B. Yeah, okay, that's our usual. A. There, all right? So what's the equation for this line? Well, what's the slope? So we go 0 minus b over a minus 0, right? So the slope is minus b over a. So we got minus b over a x plus y-intercept is b. So let's see here. For what it's worth, if you multiply this by a, we get ay equals to minus bx plus ba. So that gives you bx plus ay equals to ab, which is still like a little bit weird. Divide that by ab. Divide by ab. We get bx over ab plus ay over ab equals to ab over ab, right? Which gives us x over a plus y over b equals to 1. So lo and behold, the other form for the line is x over a plus y over b equals to 1. This is the intercept form of a line, which I almost never teach or use, but there it is. For example, what am I, example 5? You know, if I had like x over 3 plus y over 4 equals to 1, what is that? It's got a y-intercept of 4, it's got an x-intercept of 3, and it's that. Right? You could solve this. This is y over 4, 1 minus x over 3. So y is equal to 4 minus 4/3 x. So you can kind of see that that line, it's got a negative slope of like negative 4/3. It's got a y-intercept of 4, right? But I knew that this was that immediately from this general derivation. The thing that's perhaps more important, of course, is the parallel perpendicular stuff, right? But let me cease and desist from this and find my other chalk. Give me a second here. The chalk's getting short. Let's work some of the problems in the review here. Man, where did I put my chalk? Oh, it was hiding in plain sight. Of course. So yeah, which one to use? It really depends on like the nature of the problem that you're given, right? And looking at the review, a lot of the problems on the review are graphical, right? And I haven't emphasized that too much in class, partly because I don't have a good way of making grids on the board. And but let me attempt. Let me attempt one of those. 7? I can't remember. 6. Oh, okay. Thank you. Keep me honest. That's good. So, all right. Oh, that's funny. I thought these were separate questions, but it's like, so this one, I'm looking at number 29 from the review sheet. What they have given us is a blank graph, right? They give us the equation, minus 4x minus 8y equals to 8, right? And so, and we have provided a 10 by 10, a 10 by 10 graph window to plot our results, yeah? And so we're supposed to graph the line and then pick from A, B, C, D which one it is, all right? So I don't know, like if this question's on my test, I probably would just have graph the line. I wouldn't give the A, B, C, D. But whatever. I mean, this is useful. You can check our answer. Okay, so how are we going to graph the line? How should you graph this line? So question, how do we graph a line? So I can think of a number of different strategies, right? So one strategy would be to, rewrite as y equals mx plus b, and then, so we know the y-intercept is b, and then we can, do rise over run to figure out the next point from the slope, yeah? The other way, though, is lazier, is if we're graphing, right, 2 points, determine line. So find 2 points on, graph. Minus 4x minus 8y equals to 8. And if I was going to do this, the laziest thing to do is to find the points where it crosses the y-axis and the x-axis, right? So like my 2 points, because I'm lazy, I would do x equals to 0, and I would do y equals to 0. Like if I put x equals to 0 into this, what do I get? I get minus 8y equals to 8, right? And if I put y equals to 0, I get minus 4x equals to 8. So what's the y-intercept is minus 1. The x-intercept is minus, well, 8. Yeah, 8 divided by 4 is 2, right? So minus 2. And so the graph, so I said my y-intercept was minus 1, right? And my x-intercept was minus 2. You know, okay, fine. If I want to make it better, my points are too stupidly close, right? I mean, maybe I can do it, but suppose I wanted to get a third one to make it prettier, right? Add a third. Third for beauty. So x equals to 10. Where is it when x equals to 10? Minus 4 times 10, right? Minus 8y is equal to 8. That's where y is going to be when x is equal to 10. So this gives me minus 8y is equal to 8 plus 40, which then dividing both, that's 48. 48 over 8 is 6, so we get y equals to minus 6. So like when I'm over to 10, I've dropped down to minus 6. Now, did I need the third point? I did not. Definitely could have answered the review question without it. I'm just trying to illustrate the idea that if you want to find points on a graph and you have the formula for the graph, it doesn't have to be complicated. All you have to do is plug the x or the y coordinate into the equation, and it will tell you what the remaining coordinate is. Yeah? So this is the graph. Okay, so what if I'd gone the other direction of things? What if I'd gone option 1 instead? What would it have looked like? Option 1, the other way to do this would have just been like, minus 4x minus 8 equals to 8y. So divide by 8. So we get y is equal to minus 1/2 x minus 1, right? Which is that. Yeah, it would also give it to you. But of course, you still need to be able to, I mean, it depends. Choosing from A, B, C, D, like this would have been enough to look at the review sheet and go, oh, well, of the 4 answers, here, I'll put it up here. See, of the 4 answers, you got to do reverse. This is actually harder than it looks for me. Of the 4 possible answers, there's only one. There's 2 with negative slopes, right? And only one of those has a negative y-intercept. So if you understand that, once you write down minus 1/2, see, like this, well, that's, yeah, okay, that's negative slope. That's positive, right? Positive slope, positive slope. These 2 are negative. That's got a positive y-intercept, so that one's not it. So it has to be B, right? But of course, we also see that, you see where it goes through like 10, goes through like 6, and then it's going minus 1, and then the x-intercept's like minus 2, so. So I'm not trying to teach you how to answer one question. I'm trying to give you enough information that you can answer all possible questions that I throw at you about these lines. Because we don't want to, the goal in here is not to understand how to answer a problem type as much as it is to understand the problems. And so if we have a conceptual understanding, then we can answer all questions rather than just the ones we've been thrown at you before. Let's see here. There's some easier questions, like find the slope between 2 points, of a line that goes between 2 points, right? So, was that 7? Okay, so find slope of line through 10, 5, and minus 6, 3. So here, what do? You just go, okay, slope is, change in y over change in x, right? All right, let me just say it this way. It is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? And I just got to pick one, which one's the second one and which one's the first one. So, I mean, you can't be wrong, right? What I'm trying to say is, which one's point number 1, which one's point number 2? It doesn't matter, because if you flip the order of them, it just makes the fraction change by minus on the top and the bottom. What I'm trying to say is, if you do 3 minus 5 over, minus 6 minus 10, or if you do 5 minus 3 over, minus 10, 10 minus a minus 6, either way, either one of these are the same number. See, this one is 2 over minus 16, right? And this is 2 over, minus 2. And this is 2 over 16. Any way you slice it, the slope that we're looking for is 1/8. See? So you as a point of order, I usually make the point that is most right, the rightmost point, point number 2, and make the point to the left, point number 1, so that when I take the difference, I get like positive. At least I get that the change in x is positive, But that's just style. Anyway, 1/8. All right. Let's see here. So I'll let you guys look at those, and you can ask me questions about the graphing stuff on Wednesday if you got more questions. Let us talk more about solving. Example 9. Actually, I'm not sure we've worked this problem before. Find the equation of a line containing, say, 1, 3, and 10, 8. How would you go about solving this one here? What do you think? Okay. So find the slope first, you said. So we'll do what? 8 minus 3, right? Over 10 minus 1. So the slope looks like 5/9, right? And then what? Slope is 5/9. There are two different ways I go here. The one way is to do algebra to figure out what b is. The other is to just write down the answer with point slope. See, point slope says what? Y is equal to, and then you got to pick your point. Do you want to use 1, 3 or 10, 8? Either one will work. Doesn't matter. So we do the y component, which is 3, plus the slope, 5/9, times x minus 1. Because remember, the point slope formula was, y1 you can't choose wrong. If you choose, instead of choosing 1, 3, you chose 10, 8, it would give you the same equation. Like, this will be equal to, the other way to do it would have looked like this, right? It would have been 8 plus 5/9 x minus 10 It is in fact true that these are equal. You can't go wrong. But I think you're right. The point you chose makes the algebra easier. Because if you want to find, if your answer has to be in mx plus b form, then we have a little bit more work to do. So this is 3 plus 5/9 x minus 5/9. How many ninths is a third? I mean, 3 is what, 27/9? 27 minus 5 is 22/9. So y is equal to 5/9 x plus 22/9. Now, if I said, find the equation of the line, right, in point-slope form, in slope-intercept form, then that's the answer. This is slope-intercept form. However, if I just said, find the equation of the line, and I didn't specify, I just said, find the equation of the line, you have been well within your rights to stop right here, not do any additional algebra, and just say, that's the answer. So, what I'm telling you right now should allow you to solve, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 on the review sheet. All of these are like more or less these kind of sort of problems. There are ones that are easier, like number 33 and 34 on the review sheet. They give you a slope and they give you an intercept. So they find the equation of the line. We shouldn't neglect that. Just because the problem's easier doesn't mean we shouldn't do it, right? Suppose the slope is minus 7 and 0, 10 is, y-intercept. Find equation of line. So y equals mx plus b, right? But we're given m and we're given b. So the answer is just minus 7x plus 10. Y equals minus 7x plus 10. There you go. If you wanted to graph that, y-intercept is 10, right? Slope is minus 7. It means you go over 1, but you drop down 7. Go over 1, drop down 7. So it's like something like that, right? All right. What's the other kind of problem we worked? We worked a lot of these. 2 equations, 2 unknowns, right? So let's look at some of those. Two equations, 2 unknowns. This will be our final example for today, I think. I gotta save something for Wednesday, right? Let's see here. So we're supposed to solve by the substitution method. I guess two more examples for today. My bad. Solve by the substitution method. Yeah, those are 5s. My 5s are sad, but true. Yeah, there's no S's here. These are 5s. Sorry. Fair criticism. So substitution. So just solve for one of the variables. I will take the first one. We get x is equal to 50 minus 6y, right? Then substitute. Excuse me. Chalk got me too. got me to me. 5x plus 5 times, oh, I'm an idiot. 5 times x, what was x? X was 50 minus 6y, right? Plus 5y equals to 50. So this, so what I did was I took this one right here, right? And I took this right here, and I substituted it in for x to give me this down here. And since I'm not a glutton for punishment, I'm going to divide this equation by 5. That's better. So this is 50 minus 5y equals to 10 minus 5y. What's 10 minus 50? It's minus 40. Oh yes, but minus 6y plus y is?
Sorry.
You're fine. It's fine. I did a step, I didn't say it. So yeah, minus 6y plus y is minus 5y. And then subtract 50 to the other side. 10 minus 50 is minus 40. Minus 40 over minus 5 is what? The minuses cancel, right? What's 40 over 5? It is 8. Yeah, 8. And then x is equal to 50 minus 6 times 8, right? That's 50 minus 48, which of course is 2. So solution is 2 comma 8. So this is the substitution method. What was the other method we did? The elimination method, right? So if you were going to do elimination method on this problem, how would you have done it? Let's not do it, because I think a substitution is the right method for this problem. So let's just accept that substitution is the right method for this problem. For my last problem for the day, x plus 3y equals to 7, and x minus, or x plus 4y equals to 9. This one, I think, is better to solve with elimination, right? So solve with elimination. So elimination is what I'm calling like adding and subtracting equations. So this time I'm going to subtract the top equation, bottom equation from the top, right? So I get what? I get x's cancel, and I get minus y equals to 9 minus 7, 7 minus 9, right? Which is minus 2. Aha, y equals 2? 2. And how do I figure out x? Just pick which. Yeah, x plus 3 times 2 is equal to 7, which tells me that x is equal to 7 minus 6, which is 1. So the solution, 1, 2. So that's all there is to it. And so next time we'll again go back to some of those word problems and look at the word problems again. And hopefully you guys will all be ready come Friday. So thanks.